A Tale of Tales. Once upon a time, only the forest king, the lion, had a tail. All the other animals did not have a tail and suffered a lot. So one day all the animals decided to meet the king lion and came to the palace. The king was surprised to see all the animals and hurriedly came out of the palace and asked, "What happened, my dear animals? Is anything wrong in my kingdom?" The elephant stepped forward, bowed to the king and said, "Oh, my dear king, everything is well except for one problem," he said in a low voice. "Tell me, my dear elephant, what is the problem?" "Dear king, we suffer a lot because of mosquito and other insect bites during the winter season and are surrounded by flies during the summer season. Many animals have even died because of this," said the elephant. Immediately the Lion King arranged for a meeting and consulted with his ministers. After the meeting, the king decided to give a tail to each and every animal in his kingdom to protect themselves from the insects. So the Lion King sent his messengers throughout the forest to announce his order to all the animals. The messengers announced, "Oh, my dear animals, the king has invited all of you to come to his palace to give you tails." The animals became happy hearing this. The messengers met each and every animal, like the elephant, fox, mole, deer, and the squirrels, but could not find the bear anywhere. So they started searching for him in every nook and corner of the forest and finally found him sleeping in a corner of the cave. They woke him up and told him, "Please come to the palace tomorrow to get your tail." The bear replied, "Okay, I will come." Next day morning, the bear started walking towards the palace. As was his usual habit, he was walking very slowly. Suddenly, he became very hungry and thought that he will not be able to walk even a single step without taking food. So he sniffed his nose to find food, and he was able to find his favorite honeycomb in a nearby tree. But he stopped for a while and thought about the king's order. The honey smell was attracting him very much, and so he climbed over the tree and started drinking the honey. He finished drinking the whole thing, and only then did he realize that it was high time to go to the palace. He looked down and saw himself. His body was fully covered by honey and wax. He didn't want to go to the palace looking dirty. He knew that the other animals would make fun of him. He wanted to clean himself, and so he went to take a bath in the river first. After taking bath, the bear wanted to dry his hair, and so he lay down on the rock. The bear was tired and his stomach was so full that he fell asleep immediately. The other animals were starting to gather before the palace. The tails were mounted like a big mountain before the palace. There were different types, sizes, and shapes of tails. Some were long and thick, some were small and thin, and some were fur-like. The first animal who reached the place was the fox. The fox bowed to the king lion and said, "Oh, my dear king, I was so happy when I heard your announcement. I wanted to be the first person, and so I got up early and came. So please allow me to select my own tail." Without hesitation, the king granted his permission. The tricky fox saw each and every tail and finally chose the tail, which was bushy, long, and beautiful. He thanked the king lion and left the palace immediately because he didn't want the other animals to see his tail. Next one to enter into the palace was the deer. He selected a little long, thin, feather-tipped tail. He thought it would suit well and also help keep away the flies and insects. He said to the Lion King, "I will take this." "Yes, my dear deer," replied the lion. The deer went running away happily. On seeing all this, a squirrel and a mole also selected a type of tail which was bushy and broad. Only 2 tails were remaining, and both tails were small. One tail was fur-like with a bob at the end, and the other one was with a bunch of wiry hair at the end. At last, the elephant and the rabbit reached the palace. On seeing them enter, the Lion King told, "Both of you came so late. Only these 2 tails are remaining." The elephant gently turned towards the rabbit and said, "You take first. Which one do you like?" The rabbit was so happy to hear that, and he selected the tail, which one was bob-like, and said, "This one is enough for me, and it will be easy for me to escape from my enemies with this small tail." He thanked the elephant and the Lion King and left the palace. The elephant took the remaining one, thanked the king, and went away. Then the Lion King called all his ministers and said, "All of you did a great job. Thank you very much. Go and take rest. "We will meet tomorrow," and went inside the palace proudly. The only animal left was the bear, and by the time he woke up, it was evening. He realized that he had slept for a long time and remembered the king's order. "Oh my God, it is getting dark already," he thought, and started running madly towards the palace. He hid himself against the trees on his way and had scratches on his body by the time he reached the palace. But when he reached the palace at last, no one was there. So he shouted, "Is anybody here? I am the bear and I have come to get my tail." There was no answer. The bear got disappointed, and he went here and there searching for a tail. But his efforts were all in vain, and he found nothing. He said to himself, "Oh no, everybody has a tail now, except me." He couldn't imagine himself without tail while all the other animals had one. He became very sad, and tears started running down from his eyes. The bear got angry and started walking back towards his home. On the way, he saw a mole sitting on the branch of a tree and moving his newly got tail from side to and enjoying the beauty of his tail. His face was beaming with happiness. On seeing this, the bear's anger shot up and he shouted at the mole, "Hey mole, give me your tail. That tail suits me more rather than you. So give it to me immediately," he demanded. When the mole heard the words of the bear, he was very surprised and came down from the tree. "Oh, big brother bear, are you kidding me? Look how beautiful my tail is. I can't give you mine. Why should I?" he asked. But the bear told him with a grudged voice, "If you didn't give it to me now, then I will take it myself by kicking you. Do you understand?" Then he put his huge paw on the tail of the mole. On seeing this, the mole got afraid, and with his full strength, he tried to pull out his tail from under the bear's paw. Finally, he was successful somehow and ran away. The bear saw that the tip of the tail was sticking to his paw. The bear was happy and said, "At least I got this much tail for myself," and stuck it to his back and went to drink honey happily. But the mole got very scared and hid himself inside the burrow, and he never came out except for food, and that too only in the nighttime. One day, the fox saw him and asked him, "I haven't seen you for a long time. Have you been away from the forest? You look so sad. Are you not satisfied even though you got a good tail from our king?" No, my dear friend," he said, and then he narrated the whole story to the fox and said, "It is because of the bear that I never go out, except to find food." When the fox heard the whole story, he too got scared and started to find a place to hide himself from the bear. But he couldn't find any place safer than the mole's burrow. So he decided to live next to the mole's burrow. From that day onwards, both the fox and the mole started to live in the burrows to protect their tails from the bear.